Thanks for watching. This is Hito from HITOSTAR.com. Today I'm going to be speaking about Scorpio full moon on May 18th and 19th, 2019. Scorpio is known as the most intense sign of all. This full moon is very intense. It's very powerful because it's in sign of Scorpio, which is a lot about revealing secrets, transformations. It's about sexual energy and psychic energy. This time, the Sun and Mercury are coupled together in sign of Taurus and opposed by the Moon in Scorpio. So the Sun and Mercury combination is usually a lot to do with communications. So you might have some deep conversations with your partners, friends, families that are not necessarily easy. Scorpio does not like to sugarcoat things, so it might be something you really have to be honest at this time, or things that you don't feel comfortable talking with, that might come up to the topic. Scorpio is ruled by Mars and Pluto. Especially this planet Pluto is a lot to do with transformation and fate. So whatever that comes up around this full moon is a lot to do with fate, destiny. It might be things regarding to your past life, relationships from past lives. So it's almost like the universe is taking you to that direction that you need to listen to some kind of messages around this time. Scorpio is a lot to do with psychic energy. When I have a session with a client, I always explain about Scorpio energy as not physical energy, which is fifth sense, not a sixth sense, which is above that energy. It's almost like seventh sense, which is it's almost like it's hard to control. It's not some kind of large energy that comes from far away. People who have important planets in Scorpio have this sense that you would feel something, but you cannot even describe it. So around this time, we are surrounded with this powerful energy that can give us a huge transformation and some realization about ourselves, something even bigger, something even beyond our understandings. This is a great opportunity for us to transform ourselves. So it is a great time for us to release something from deep within, something that you don't usually really look into, something that that's all at the bottom of yourself that can be transformed, revealed, and after releasing this big energy, we are ready for the new beginning. In my last video, Taurus New Moon, I talked a lot about this planet Mars is in a state called out of bounds in April and May. So this is still going on until June, and we are right in this energy. Mars is much stronger. It's kind of like out of control than a regular state. Especially this planet was in sign of Gemini throughout the end of April and the beginning of May, and now it's changing into the sign of Cancer. So at the beginning of May, you might have had some fiery conversations. It might be a little too much. It could be an argument or fight. And this planet is going into sign of Cancer, which is a lot about our emotion and need to protect our family and friends. Since this planet will be still in out of bounds, this state that's much stronger than usual, we do need to be careful with what we say, how we express ourselves, especially towards to other person, because even without knowing, we can be hurting someone. It could be a little bit too aggressive. So it's always good to calm down and try to observe what you are expressing. Another event at this full moon is we have Venus and Uranus conjunct in sign of Taurus, which is a lot to do with surprise and freedom and some shocking events in relationships, money, your self-value. Venus is going into sign of Taurus, which is a great position for Venus because it's one of home signs. Venus is very comfortable in being in sign of either sign of Taurus or Libra. And now it's going into sign of Taurus in the middle of May. And this is great for beauty, relationships in general, and money. But at this full moon, this Venus is conjunct Uranus, which is a lot to do with surprise, freedom, some shocking events that can happen. So expect the unexpected. So the Uranus can turn out in a great surprise, good surprise, but also it could be something that might not be comfortable. So this will be interesting to see how it will turn out with the energy of Scorpio. Because Scorpio is also about partnerships. It's more of one-on-one relationship that's very deep. It's very intimate. And since Venus is also about money and self-value, it could be a breakthrough or surprise regarding to those topics, which could be a great transformation and breakthrough for all of us. Especially the sign of Scorpio is a lot to do with tax and other people's money. It could be money from your partners. It could be some money or properties that you inherited from your family or other people. So this month in May, I already heard from a lot of people that things were very much unexpected, and some things that's regarding to money or relationships was going like a roller coaster, especially around the second week of May. So if that was happening to you, don't worry. That's a lot to do with this Uranus energy, and that can give us some surprises and some lessons. So if you did have some bumps around the beginning of this month, towards to the end of the month, the situations should be a little better, coming to some conclusions, solutions. And also, I was talking about these two planets, Saturn and Pluto, in the last video. But these two planets are very important this year in 2019 and next year, 2020, because these two are going to conjunct with planet Jupiter in sign of Capricorn, and that's a huge event in astrology that's happening in January 2020. So we already have this energy very much strongly especially from the end of April, and you might be still feeling this energy this month as well. Think about what happened at the end of April. You might be in some kind of events, situations that's regarding to your status, where you stand in your society, or some kind of achievement, as well as some kind of reality checks and health matters that come up around this time. Because what happened was these two planets, Saturn and Pluto, went retrograde at the end of April. And when planets go retrograde, that's when the energy is the symbolism of those planets are magnified. Luckily, this event happened with energy of another planet, Jupiter, which is a lot to do with optimistic energy, hope and wishes. So you probably had some kind of event that gives you a lot of hope and some luck, as well as the energy of Saturn, which is a lot to do with hard work and reality check and achievement and looking into your health problems. All of this energy is continuing towards 2020, and it is great for us to look at what's happening in our lives right now and what kind of direction do we want to go, because whatever that's happening now is a glimpse of some big events in 2020, and this can be different for each one of us. But whatever that's happening right now, the great message here is to be yourself. It might sound very simple, but it could be very hard sometimes. But the universe is really pushing us to be ourselves, to let go of all the things that you were basically faking before and come down to the core matter. What do you really want to do in this life? What are the things that you really want to have in this life? And it's the time to be very honest with our body, with our psyche. In the second half of month of May, we have 4 planets in sign of Taurus, which are the Sun and Mercury, Uranus, and Venus. So this is a great time for us to enjoy the richness of the earth, enjoy being in nature, gardening, anything to do with food, enjoying food and drinks. Just be in the frequency of nature we are naturally born with. Because the nature itself can raise our frequency and be able to relax, which makes us to manifest things we want to manifest, be closer to your dreams. So I would recommend you to go out and be in the nature, enjoying whatever you feel good, especially from your 5th sense, anything to do with your body. Singing, since Taurus is a sign of singing, and just enjoy yourself. Thanks so much for watching again. As I was explaining in the last video, I just moved to Midtown Manhattan, and it's very close to Times Square, and it's such a big event for me to live in such a great neighborhood and being in the center of this entertainment and art and all the things that I love in New York. So my life has been transforming a lot in that sense. And I just finished performing in a musical at New York City Center for this musical called Lady in the Dark. And that was just an amazing experience. And I was able to sing with all the great singers and actors who are Oscar award winning and Tony award winning. We just had an amazing time, and our show got some reviews from New York Times Magazine and Vogue Magazine saying the most fashionable show in New York City, which makes me feel great as well, just to be in that show and to achieve something with all these great performers. I will be announcing more about my shows coming up this 2019, and thank you so much for those who gave me great comments and supports. Just to talk about a little bit about myself, I always wanted to make dreams come true in my life, and which was a lot to do with singing and dancing and making people happy and inspired. So this came up when I was little, when I watched a musical show for the first time in my life, around 3-4 years old. And that's when I really decided that I wanted to perform, sing and dance and act. And the mission that came to me at that age was to really be inspiration in this life. And that's such a big mission to think of as a little kid. But that was really a true feeling that I deeply felt in myself, and that's why I wanted to come to New York, even though I'm from such a countryside in Japan. No one does that kind of things, and no one really thought you could do, but I wanted to be change, and I wanted to be inspiration in this life. So I just kept going with my dream, and I've been living in New York for quite a long time, 12 years now. But it's been a great journey for me to be able to just be me, and as a person who comes from another place, and of course I still have accents in my in English, and I still have some challenges sometimes, but I have to say most of the time I'm really grateful and enjoying my life for all the things that I've achieved and overcome in my life. And I see myself as a leader. I see myself as a big change for many people. And since my astrology video, this video has become #1 in Japan for new moon and full moon videos in astrology, I'm now more confident to speak up about myself and be able to share more stories of my life, and the purpose of all the things I'm doing is to really encourage people to be yourself and be able to inspire others and be able to help others. Because if we are not being confident and being loved by ourselves, we cannot achieve big things. So I had a lot of struggles about that in my past, and I overcome a lot of things, and especially with this study of astrology have really grown me from deep within, and now I'm able to help a lot of people. So I'm very much grateful about this. So I do astrology sessions online. All the information is down here, and please do connect with me on this YouTube, comment, like, and subscribe if you haven't. I have 2 different websites and 2 different Instagrams. You can go from hitostar.com and hitominozawa.com. I wanted to share something interesting at the end. I just moved to a new apartment, and I just performed at a big musical around the same time, and I needed a tiara for this show to be in this part of the show, and I did not have one, and I was supposed to bring one, and guess what? So when I moved to the new apartment a few days before the show, this tiara was sitting on an empty shelf. It was from the owner of the apartment, but it was literally sitting there in my new room, and I was like, I didn't even make the connection first, but when I realized I needed one for my show in the next few days, I had to believe this was more than a miracle. I've experienced so many things like that in the past. The things happen, some synchronicities, and just some things that you can't really explain why, but this happened. So I just took it as a great sign for me, and of course I wore the tiara for the show, and here it is. Thanks so much for watching again. I am wishing you a beautiful full moon in Scorpio. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, and the dreams that you dream of once in a lullaby. Somewhere over the rainbow, way up high, and the dreams that you dream of, dreams really do come true.